Today's video is all about balls. Meatballs, that is. And if you expect me to be mature and not make stupid schoolboy jokes and smirk every time I say balls, then you are watching the wrong channel. Because I plan on having fun with my balls today. Hello and welcome back to Deliciously Awkward. So, as I mentioned before, today is going to be all about balls. And the great thing about meatballs is that there's so many different ways you can make them, but there's also a lot of ways that you can mess them up. For instance, your balls might be too small, too big, too dry, too hard, too soft and mushy, too salty, not salty enough. And clearly I'm having fun with this one. But anyway, we go through a lot of balls in this house. Meatballs are one of the few things that my two kids will eat regularly. So I make meatballs probably twice a month. And I've done a lot of trial and error over the years, and I finally found the way to make the perfect meatballs. Nice and soft, succulent, juicy. So I'll show you how to make those as well as sauce, because I'm not a fan of jarred tomato sauce, and it's really easier than you think to make your own from scratch. So meatballs and tomato sauce. Let's go make it awkward. So let's get started making our balls. Here I have 1 pound of ground turkey, but you could use any meat that you want. And to that we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 egg, 1 cup of plain panko breadcrumbs. The next few seasonings I'm gonna put in, I'm just gonna eyeball, but you probably want about half a teaspoon of each. So garlic powder. So I realized I said garlic powder when I was putting in the onion powder. So that was onion powder, now I'm putting in garlic powder. All this talk about balls is getting me a little flustered, I guess. Oregano. And pepper, you probably want about a 1/4 teaspoon. Watch my other videos, I had an incident with this thing. It's all wonky and everything, and yeah, just made a mess again. Damn balls. All right, and then I have a cup of water. I don't think we're gonna need the whole cup, maybe about half a cup. And this is the key to getting moist and juicy balls. Water moistens the breadcrumbs, which will keep the balls nice and moist. So we're just about ready to start rolling our balls. I have a baking sheet lined with foil, and that's just to help with the cleanup, one less thing to wash. I am going to spray it with some baking spray. This will just make sure that they don't stick to the pan, because you don't want your balls to stick to anything. Here's our bowl of meat, and I have a little bowl of water, and that's just to keep my hands moist to help with the rolling. You want your hands to be moist when handling the balls. Just want your balls to be about golf ball size. That's about it. So here we have our 15 balls. As you can see, this one is a little smaller than the others, but that's okay. Isn't one always smaller than the other? Anyway, I have my toaster oven preheated to 300 degrees. I'm gonna put that in for 20 minutes. And while they're cooking, we'll make our sauce. So you could just buy one of those jars of sauce, but I find it much more rewarding and better tasting to make sauce myself with some canned tomato products. Starting with a can of tomato puree. And now tomato paste. This is garlic flavored, but any kind is fine. I will show you a cool little hack. I forget where I saw this, but kind of cool way to make sure you get all the paste out of the can. So you open the top of the can and then flip it over and do the same thing on the bottom. And what should happen, you should be able to just pull the top off. Okay, and the cool thing about this, we use the same exact seasonings that we use for the meatballs. And for this, I definitely wing it. With sauce, it's something you want to taste, because every can of tomatoes is going to be different. So you just start with a good sprinkling of salt, Again, I don't know. This is how I do it. You could probably find a recipe from someone else, but I like winging it. So oregano, pepper, I'm gonna be really careful with this time. And look, the whole thing's busted. You know what, I'm gonna use my pepper grinder. And gonna get it right this time. Onion powder and garlic powder. One more thing. So bay leaves. So I'm gonna give this a good stir, put it on the stovetop at medium. About, once it starts getting really bubbly, you wanna put a lid on that, and we'll wait for the meatballs to cook and we'll throw them in with the sauce. So our balls are nice and hot and right out of the oven. And I just wanted to do something, see how many people out there remember this. It might be something only old millennials like me or Gen Xers will remember. So who remembers this? I want to dip my balls in it. So the guy in the show does it with a lot more enthusiasm and passion, but I mean, this is about as much enthusiasm as I can possibly show. But anyway, so if you remember where that line is from, what show, leave a comment below. I'm really curious to see if anyone else remembers that. Anyway, I'm gonna go plop my balls in my sauce and let them cook together another few minutes or so, and then we'll give my balls a taste. Nice and soft, still moist inside. Still steaming, I don't know if you can see that. Right, here it goes. That is some good ball. Yeah, come out really good, really soft, really juicy, really nice balls. So I think that's it for me for today. So I will see you next time, and remember to embrace the awkward. And hopefully I didn't make it too awkward. Hopefully you come back and watch more, which reminds me to ask you to make sure to like and subscribe. I always forget to do that in my videos, but you know, as a small growing channel, really appreciate everyone watching this, and every like, every share, every subscribe really makes a difference. So really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.